Wait, you did DRM?
Yeah.
I did DRM.
Why did you do DRM? I said I would do DRM, you would do error handling.
Anything to do with errors sounds like your whole vibe.
Yeah, I handle errors
Scrum?
like you every day.
Yes, Scrum.
Scrum.
Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to talk about how you can use a typical software engineering productivity and workflow tool in school, whether you're in high school or college. I think it's super useful for managing projects, and coupled with Notion, the software that I use, it can really improve your efficiency. So let me take you through it. So the name Scrum comes from rugby, where all the players huddle together to restart play. In this context, however, Scrum is a framework for developing projects. It breaks larger goals into smaller tasks that are designed to be completed in short time frames, called sprints. Although traditionally designed for teams to hold each other accountable, Scrum can also be used individually to track your progress. There are different ways to establish a Scrum board, but there are some essential components to every Scrum board, no matter whether the field is software engineering or marketing or whatever. Usually there are progress categories, such as icebox or no status, in progress, completed, and review. And of course these can be adapted based on the specific requirements of the project. You'll have an initial set of tasks, and then as the project progresses, you move the tasks to the appropriate progress categories. And you can always add new tasks as well as you go through. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about Notion itself, but I'll put some links to some other YouTubers who are Notion aficionados, like Ali Abdal and Thomas Frank, and I'll leave those in the description box. And they have more videos about how they use Notion more in depth. I'm also not sponsored by Notion because my YouTube career isn't there yet, but if someone from Notion is watching, shoot me an email. Shameless plug aside, in Notion, you can assign additional properties, the most useful ones being type of task, person responsible, and due date. With type of task, you can better track the types of things that you and your team have done. For instance, if you're working on a group project, types of tasks might include research, writing, presentation, etc. Assigning a task to a person to be done by a certain date helps keep everyone accountable. I hope college students, you guys, my viewers who I think are my primary audience, watch this and incorporate this into your workflow. It's really easy to set up, and you'll find that it helps keep you on track, and it's a really good record also of how you completed a project, what you did in a project, and if it's a group project, how much each person contributed. I know that sometimes group projects can be a little bit tricky when some people aren't necessarily pulling their weight. So if this tool doesn't inspire those who are slacking a little bit, then at least you have some documentation of how they didn't pull their weight. So let's go through a quick example of how I would set this up for a college project, for example. Okay, so let's go through an example. So here is a made-up college project. Let's say we're looking at coronavirus in the US. I know it's a broad topic, but let's just go with it. And let's say we wanted to make a presentation about it. So the first thing is to brainstorm either by yourself or with your team a list of initial tasks that you want to complete. And of course you can always add more tasks as you progress through the project and figure out what it is exactly that you need to do to complete the project. So I'm going to go ahead and add a whole bunch of tasks. So research biology of COVID. Let's say, I'm just going to speed this part up right here. Okay, so now I have sort of my initial tasks. So these are sort of the smaller tasks that I feel like would constitute the larger project, the larger presentation. And now within each task, basically you can start going through these properties. You can assign it to people in your team, so I'll assign it to myself for now. You can assign a status and a purpose as well. The purpose helps you track what types of tasks you're doing that everyone else is doing. So it's a really neat function. So this would be a research type thing. And let's say it's due a week from today. And you can also add notes here. So any sort of notes that you do for this task. So any research that you do, you can also add it here just so that everything is in one place. So maybe, I don't know. I don't really know about the biology, but I think COVID is a RNA virus, potentially. And yeah, as you see, this task card has now moved to a different progress category, the not started progress category. And you would do that for each of these task cards. And essentially, as you progress through a project, you can move these task cards to the appropriate progress category. And in that way, it's really satisfying to see yourself physically move cards to indicate that you're making progress and that you're doing well in your project, that you're keeping on time with all the tasks. And it's a good way to also keep your teammates accountable to see if they're progressing with their tasks. So essentially, this is a Scrum board. It's really simple and it's really effective, and I hope you guys consider using it. So that was Scrum. I hope this video was useful. I've included a Notion template in the description below that you can just copy over. I know that school has started for many of you back in the US, and it's probably so weird to start school remotely. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope all of you are safe. But you know, the world keeps turning and we have to adapt. So when it comes to these group projects, hopefully you consider using this tool to improve group productivity, which works well remotely, or even just on your own. So if you have essays to write, for example, hopefully you can incorporate Scrum. I'll personally be starting work in a week, and I'm still trying to figure out what types of videos I want to make moving forward. I'll still try to make some cool vlogs, although my life may not be super interesting. As you can see, I've moved into my new place, so maybe I'll do a video about that. I definitely do want to share my experiences as a software engineer at Cambridge, so definitely be on the lookout for that, and I'll see you guys soon.